Good evening, Liberia. I'm Assistant Commissioner of Police, Susie T. Tele, Head of the Women and Children Protection Section of the Liberia National Police. I bring you this statement in response to On August 30, 2025, the Liberia National Police received a formal complaint alleging the sexual abuse of a 14-year-old minor. The accused in this case is Mr. J. Bryant McGill, Deputy Minister for Youth Development at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Given the sensitive nature of this allegation and the involvement of a public official, we fully recognize the transparency, and we are working in close collaboration, the Sex Crimes Unit at the Department of Justice and relevant forensic. We have of the victim. The suspect has availed himself for questioning, and additional investigative actions are currently underway. It is important to emphasize that rape is a high sensitive matter, and the Liberia National Police treats such cases with the highest degree of confidentiality. The protection, privacy, and well-being of the victim remain our top priority throughout the investigation. Process and medical, the public that no one is above the law. We remain firmly committed to impartiality, professionalism, and the pursuit of justice, regardless of status or affiliation. We respectfully ask the public to refrain from speculation and allow the investigative process to proceed with this case carry will continue to act in the best interest of justice and the protection of vulnerable persons. Thank you for your continued trust in the Liberia National Police.
When that thing happened, me, I can't lie to you. Yeah, tell everything happened, people die.
Hello?
But before you arrive, they finish.
Okay, hello. So those are working here. Or even those are outside that get fighting. Anything happen to them, they will not be no secret.
Yes.
They will see it in the hand, it will stay show. You can't have someone like that.
Yes.
Especially those that are working here. Why do people do it? They get parents, they get family. So as I said, they do the hospital. I started with care, maybe the community chairman and the new chair inside there. But the public see the place. Everyone
Can you please help us? Can you please help us?
Yes. Yes.
But you are carrying service with your service in so you need
Listen to the district representative. So we are here in District 13, and the lawmaker has agreed to take a loan.
Dear News, Dear News, come here.
I'll get to that.
You want my careful? I'll tell you. Yeah. You know. You know, doing live with yeah.
Chief, you have one for your stand up. If you want to go in there,
yeah, you won't record early. You won't record early.
That's what happened.
Okay.
The police will say no. You have to pretend life and property.
Yeah.
So going there, your members know. So no.
No, the fact that they saw other people going in there and I also went there, so I will be with them. No, this is the I mean, we don't want to leave for them people start choking here where they will come confusion.
So we are live here at the Japan Freeway. Around the Japan Freeway, where a truck believed to be belonging to the Mara gas has exploded. As you can see, fire service is here.
It's one of the employees
One of the employees here.
How did he escape the process?
Listen to one of the workers. The factory here at Maraga Gas exploded. This is Chief Tessa.
I'm facing the fire service for their swift involvement with the fire incident. There was having the fire service rescue.
So when we came, I think we have already taken the people to the hospital. And what we did was that we got a 360. We saw the mini fire themselves. We polished fire. And then we are checked all in there. We are not seeing anybody. People are mentioned. I mean, we are still checking. We actually the owner of the place. We actually didn't say that there's some person who got wounded. And then they took them to the hospital. So what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to verify the information. I'm going to the hospital, so from there I'm back to the hospital, see exactly
So you are getting, from what reports you are getting, 7 persons, reportedly 7 persons got wounded. But did anybody lose their lives in this process?
So what we have not gotten is that we have not seen any dead bodies. Now, actually, like I said, we keep in there. The road is open for you to try to slip up. The road is open, just slip up. So we cannot verify that it's also unless there is something that is needed. We are just seeing them as one of them crying,
So who you in the hospitals were they taken to?
I'm told that they were taken to JFK, so I'm going to JFK.
From the angle of fire, you have to tell us whether this River Gaha fire truck.
No, from what I suspect, don't have any fire. They don't even know the fire has them. And there are a lot of things, there are a lot of irregularities that I'm seeing there. And we're going to take some measures. We're looking at the light. We're looking at people who are sick or whatever. That's all we are talking about. The message, brother. The people, man.
Chief Tessa, who are speaking to us about the situation. And we just got here. This is the factory.
These are the oxygen tanks that is pulled.
Those are the oxygen tanks. As you can see, the guys are there. As you can see.
Once again, I'm here to speak to you about a very important training issue. As a criminal justice expert, someone who has been a solicitor general and has been teaching criminal law for years, teaching at the police academy, I am so angry this morning to hear that Deputy Minister McGill, the man who was accused of raping a 14-year-old girl, is passing up and down the street. He should be in the police cell. That he are not being arrested. We cannot have selective justice. Article 11C of the Constitution calls for equal protection. The same way you treat people from West Point, Soniwan, of Vubadi in Sino, when they are accused of crime, the same way you should treat a high official of government. Why do I say so? When I was Solicitor General, and my good friend Roland Khan was senator, and the police came to me with a report, a team led by Sam Sion, chief of investigation at that time, and said, we are investigating, but Senator Roland Khan's name has featured as a co-conspirator. I said, go arrest him. I will answer the question. They told me, oh, he's a member of the Senate. Can't we write the Senate to excuse him to be arrested? I said, no, there's nothing in the law that says so. He was immediately arrested and put at the back of the pickup, handcuffed along with other defendants. All suspects of crime must be treated the same way. What is happening now undermines the error in the arrest agenda. It undermines the rule of law. I'm calling upon the police to immediately arrest former Deputy Minister McGill. He should be former Deputy Minister. This is wrong for a man who was appointed, nominated and confirmed by the Senate to protect the young people and to carry on youth development to become a threat to the survival of the young people is not anything that the government should take lightly. I'm calling upon President Boakai to tell the police director to move speedily, because these are the things that can make the police disrespected in the communities. The whole country is watching. If this high official of government is not treated like they can treat anyone who is unknown, suspected of statutory rape, the next time police go somewhere to arrest someone who is not of the same stature, the people will resist. But when a big man is treated in the same way a small person will be treated on suspicion of committing crime, police have trust in the police. So I'm calling upon the police director to immediately get on this. I have credibility to say this. I've been Solicitor General. I'm a criminal law professor. There is no justification for this man being out right now. I'm calling upon all actors in government, even members of the civil society, let us put the pressure to make sure that the victim gets justice. Thank you very much.
I can't stand no more, cause no more food. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause no more food. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me Mr. Journalist, I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now, and I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war? Tell me, we got major headlines. Oh, we got major stories. Yeah. There is no job, no money.
We got major headlines and major stories right from your areas, and we like to say pleasant good evening from Liberia. Today is Tuesday, September 16, 2025. It's a pleasure to be on here tonight as we have fascinating discussions to talk on the program, The Round Table. This is how we like to welcome all of you to be part of tonight's presentation. My name is William McGill, and let me say good evening to you, Mr. Abu, and welcome to this week presentation of the program, The Roundtable. Good evening, Mr. Abu, and welcome.
Thank you, Bill. How are you? I hope you had a very good day. I understand the sun was really shining today in Monrovia, no rain. I know in Monrovia, that's what people call good weather. They said that was a good weather.
The weather was good today.
Shining, you know, they could go around to do the hustling, you know. We know this is going to be a fascinating evening for us. We're going to be talking on various things. Just keep yourself glued onto this Waste TV, and you're going to hear our own opinion on certain things that are happening in Liberia there. And we know you will enjoy it, and we call on you. We'll place the number on the board, so you will be calling if you want to participate. If there is some information you have we do not have, you can as well join in, but make sure the information you give us are all sourced. Either you were present or some official give you the information. My name is Samuel Abu. I'm going to be here tonight with William McGill, and we'll be talking to you on training events. And Bill, what do we have tonight?
Well, our first discussion point going to be on the Mira gas explosion situation there around the Smeko area on the Japanese freeway. Yesterday, we were being able to witness such a side event, and we've also gathered from Mika press briefing today that a Lebanese personnel who also work with the entity lost his life in that situation after being taken to the JFK hospital. And we got a report on yesterday that 16 persons were severely injured from the explosion yesterday. We were able to talk to one of the person who escaped, if I may say, death, because he was on the scene when the situation started, and luckily for him, he was able to escape the situation. We will talk about that. We're also looking into, the current releases coming in from the Liberia National Police Women and Children Protection Department, and also the Ministry of Gender concerning an alleged rape allegation against Deputy Minister Bill Maggie of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We will also look at, recent situation that Timon, a student from the Timon University who has been a whistleblower pertaining situation in the medical sector in Maryland County. Bill Peters, a story there from him. We'll also look into that tonight. So we like to say stay tuned as we dive into these discussions tonight. And it's a great pleasure to have you on this presentation, Mr. Abu.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, you call the Deputy Minister Bill McGill. That's your own name you're calling. Is it Bill McGill?
He's Brian McGill, sorry.
Brian McGill.
I'll put first from my A.
So don't incriminate yourself, because people start looking for you from Kakata all the way. Yeah. Okay. So tonight, let's talk about this. What's the name of the company? Mira Gas Incorporated. And what specifically are they doing? They produce cooking gas and other things, right? That's what they're doing.
So
cooking gas.
It's a hydrocarbon gas company. Hydrocarbon gas company that produces cooking gas. Yeah. And is one company that is well noted for the production of that gas. They have been in Liberia for very close to 2 or 3 years now, carrying on this work, and they've been producing the gas. They import the product and do a finishing production of the gas, and after which they distribute to customers across Liberia. And on yesterday, while in the field, we've got a report of that their company had an explosion of one of their tankers at a storage facility right close to the Freeport of Monrovia, where they store the product when it comes to Liberia. And several of these employees got injured from the situation. One person we spoke to, the guy was very, very confused because of the situation. He said he was in a facility, and all of a sudden, they were working on one of the tankers that store the gas, and while in the facility, this pipe. Let me just bring a picture of one of the tankers that we are talking about. The pipe on that tank started to lose, and there was a lot of smoke because it's a hydrocarbon gas.
Wow,
company,
this
so
is
there was
dangerous. So they fill these smaller tanks from the big one there.
Yes, they fill the smaller tanks from the bigger tank that is right there, where they get their product from the Freeport and store it, and then fill the smaller tanks to do retail and wholesale. So they have various selling points that they distribute to, and have other guys working to be able to sell out these products. And according to go ahead.
And the Ministry of Information in the press briefing today, did they say anything about it, or they only announced about the death or the passing of the other person, the victim?
There was not a lot said about the situation in terms of what they've gathered from the report, but the Ministry of Information invited the Director General of the Executive Director of the National Disaster Management in person of Mr. Ansu Dole, who announced that 19 persons got injured severely and a Lebanese national passed off on today, and witnessed a situation which was very, very tragic, and it was a total disaster. We saw a team from the Liberia National Police, the Fire Service, the EPA, and as well as the Liberia National Disaster Management Team. So I was just going in depth with this company before we dive into a deep conversation, right? We've seen this company producing the gas, bringing in the gas and finishing the product to sell to customers. And it interests you to know that Mr. Tissel, who is also Deputy Director for Operation from the Fire Services, there's not a lot being done in terms of securing the facility, in terms of fire, in terms of, such a situation that we witnessed on yesterday. This company that produces this gas do not have a personal fire truck, which I think they should have. There's not a lot of fire extinguisher at the entity to be able to quench fire situation because they're dealing with gas. And one thing we also gathered was these guys are paid $5 per day, and this company do not keep the workers more than 6 months. So after 6 months, they have a new batch of contractors only because they don't want for the current contractor they've hired to discover most of their secrets and most of the way they deal with situations in the company. That was something we've gathered from close relatives and workers, relatives and family members of the workers who got injured from the situation. And I don't know what's the step the EPA and the National Disaster Management take, especially for the EPA angle. But it said they gave the company accreditation, they gave the company, the necessary documents they need to operate. This is a company that bring in hydrocarbon gas in Liberia, and they have a station right in the heart of a city, close to residential areas. I think it should be something that should have drawn a very serious attention to the EPA. There was a lot of complaints to the representative of District 13 when he went there that, after the explosion, there was a lot of homes that shook because of that situation.
Looking at all of these, we could just say that it was recklessness and the greatest disregard for the lives and condition of the people who live in that particular environment. While the Ministry of Information wanted to talk on it today, I don't think they adequately addressed the issues, because the minister himself knows in such a situation, we should have had EPA and also the National Disaster Management coming over to say something. Because why would the EPA come there? They were involved in that will have an environmental impact on the community. And the disaster management community agency would have come in to talk to the people in the community in the United States where I live, where many people live, where the Minister of Information lives or has a home. They should be able to understand that even in your home, when just there is a gas leak a gas leak, or someone opens the stove and the gas spills out and the whole house is filled with the scent of gas, everybody should immediately be evacuated from that particular home. And they're not going to come back until the environmental people come and search the place and see that it is completely sealed and safe to go back into that community. When the disaster management community comes, what did they do? Did they evacuate some people? In regular sense, we're not going to look at the situation of Liberia, because in Liberia, when 200 people die, it becomes a nationwide mourning and other thing that we have to do. That is gas, you know. So they should have immediately evacuated the entire environment. People who live in that area, even those people that I see standing outside there, looking there, they shouldn't be there, because gasoline inhalation, inhaling the gasoline, it is not just something that may attack you at the very point. If you do not go up, those are the things that build up into cancer into our system. And after some time, sometimes you say that one day they say, oh, the man was just walking in the street and he fell off. There are many things that have happened before and they did not know. But this gas leak must not be taken very easily. It's a very serious situation, and this company must be closed and shut down immediately until they put in place those items or those situations, especially taking the safety measures, not only for the workers in that particular building, but also for the people in the environment. They do not care for the people in the environment. The EPA director himself must be on top of things. This involves Liberians and it involves Liberia. You know, we know many of these companies come, and when they give them the license to operate, as soon as they give the license to operate, many of them go and forget that they need to do some safety measures. You can see some of the people who work, the man who came out there, he did not even have a PPE. You know, he didn't have any protection, no preventive thing, you know. So how are we going to handle such a situation? That company must be shut down. I do sympathize with the person who they say finally died. I do sympathize with him and with his family, you know, but he may have been one of the people who overlooked some things. That's recklessness to the highest degree. Government must not take it lightly. Let them take it as a reckless behavior, with, you know, not necessarily thinking what was going to come out of it, but they know what can come out of it if you let gas spill in the community. That entire community should be evacuated immediately. For us in America, when they talk about evacuating the area, the hotels are where they take people. They take you to the hotel, you stay there 2-3 days, and the company is going to be responsible to pay for you and pay you for the inconvenience that they have caused you, because if you were in your house, except if it is proven beyond every doubt that you did it recklessly or you did it carelessly, then sometimes you cannot sue the company. But today, I just ask on the rights advocates to understand that this company behaved recklessly and they should also be taken to court. You know, there should be a class suit against this company.
One thing the lawmakers said was the company was going to pay for the action. I don't know how, but he said he was going to make sure that the company pay for the action. And the thing that will interest you to know, Mr. Abu, is that this is not the first time. As per report we gather, this is the second time that such a situation is happening at this sea entity. This is the second time with no preventive measures of how to making sure that they cannot have similar situation happening. And if this is the second time, it will also interest you to know that there is not much that has been done by the National Disaster Management, by the EPA, and by the government of Liberia, especially by the national legislature, to making sure to call such a company out and telling them that this is how we want you to operate, especially operating such an entity in the heart of the city around, residential areas. You have homes not too far from the Mercado. You have homes not too far from Logantown. You have homes close to the free port of Monrovia. You have the entity right next to Simeco. And this is not the first time of such an explosion in that particular entity. This is not the first time. That was something we got.
But we need to understand this too. The government, the EPA, I understand, should have inspectors that go around to these companies to evaluate and to investigate whether they meet the necessary safety standards. Explosion, the fire service should also go there and always make sure that the documentation, that the regular preventive measures are taken, or they have a standby, or how we call it, an SOP in case there is an explosion. What do they do immediately? Because there is no way you can have such a thing and you tell us that there is never going to happen. It will happen. It will always happen, either based on carelessness or material default or equipment default. All of this will happen. They should know this. The EPA comes around yearly or maybe semi-annually to make sure that all of these things are in place. The employment of the other people, I do not know. What is it? Is that, are they bringing them in because they are casual laborers, so they do not give them full employment? They are wage earners. Government should be able to start protecting these people.
I don't even know what the labor ministry is doing.
Well, the labor ministry ensures that people got jobs, but it doesn't happen really in this case. The labor ministry, they tell them, oh, we got 15 people employed, we got 20 people employed. But most of the time, when they lay the people off in 6 months, sometimes when they employ you, they make you sign a contract that says that you are being employed at will. You know, there is something they call employment at will. That means the employer can lay you off at any time. And at any time, when you want to leave the job, you can leave the job. They owe nothing to you, you owe nothing to them. You know, they pay you for the time that you work. That's employment at will, you see. So that's what happens. That legislature who went there and said they will pay for it, those are just jargons he's going to speak. The thing is in his community. He would never tell us that he ever knows whether that company exists in that community, whether he's even going around his community to see that. That particular person, I saw the name. I've never heard him talking in the legislature there. I've never heard him talking, you know. So what is he going to say now? My people are dying? You know, what is he going to say? Let the legislature, I mean, they got nothing to do with it. Let's look at the government parastatal that is responsible for these things. The EPA, specifically responsible. Okay, now the National Fire Service, they should also be responsible. Because if you are doing any business that will have to do with explosives, you should be able to have a standard procedure in case there is anything that is going to happen. I think the man that passed out, he may be one of the authorities, or he is one of the engineers that they depend on. They bring them to that country there with fake papers, fake documentation, and tell them, oh, this man is qualified. You know, look at the number of people who got hurt. You know how many mouths that those people are feeding? You know how many people that they are responsible for? School just opened. Their children need to go to school. They're doing their fair labor. Then you go and have that because of carelessness and recklessness. Sometimes even the people you bring them on the job, you don't train them adequately. You don't train them. You let them be like that and just work. We are not saying anything that you have to do with gasoline, you always expect explosions to happen at a certain time. Even the ones that they're using now on the stoves in homes in Monrovia, people should always know, what do we have in place by the EPA to tell people in case your gas tank is leaking? Is it just to take it and throw it outside? No, it affects the people. The EPA needs its own community sensitization on how to deal with this, because using gasoline in the home is just starting in Liberia. When we were there maybe 15, 20 years ago or 10, 15 years ago, we did not have it. But today, they are bringing stoves that use gasoline. They are bringing freezers that use gasoline. They are bringing various appliances that use this gasoline. This is what got this gasoline business to be booming in Liberia. We see people who are retailers. They buy from there and they sell it in different areas. I saw someone in Kakata with it. I think you spoke to that person.
Yeah.
And this gasoline is really booming. The business is booming. And as it is booming, you have to sensitize the community and tell them about the dangers of mishandling this thing, of mishandling the tank, mishandling even the gas that comes on in. Make sure you always close it tight. The connections, I'm not going so much at the thing that has happened, but many things that should have been happening by the EPA, they did not do it.
Mr. Abu, do you think the EPA failed in terms of doing their job?
In this particular instance, I can say yes. But politically, they will come and say, oh, we have done this, we have done this. We all know how to speak those political terms and those political languages. They all say it. They will tell you they have done the thing. But in the end, when they investigate, we want them to come out clean and tell us what went wrong. How can we prevent it from happening again? Because in case of this investigation, the first thing to do is to take care of the people who are hurt, put them in hospital, make sure they have appropriate care. Then you come into the community and see. Anybody can get up and tell you, say, I'm all right, I smell it and this and that, but it passed. But just make sure that it's a long-term problem that's going to come to the people. Just as I told you earlier, here in the United States, just a gas leakage outside. When 2, 3 people complain about it, they call 911. When they come in, they're going to make sure the first thing is evacuating people and make sure nobody stays around there. Because gas doesn't just come in the air and burn like fire. No. It takes its own time to move. But let this be just a lesson to those who are responsible. I understand the Minister of Information came out with something on it, but they did not address this thing adequately. They came to more or less just report about the person who died. Who is
so
he?
Let me just bring that release, Mr. Abu. It was today's MICA press briefing when the National Disaster Management Executive Director came out there. He said the National Disaster Management Agency has confirmed that one person has died following the Mira Gas Factory oxygen tank car explosion that occurred yesterday. Executive Director Ansu Dolly announced that out of the 19 injured employees who were rushed to the John F. Kennedy Memorial Medical Center, a Lebanese national has been pronounced dead. Authorities says investigations are ongoing to determine the exact cause of the explosion, which left several others wounded and caused significant damage within the facility. So that was his statement. He said, even though they know none of what happened, but they are still investigating and they will be able to tell us the cause of the situation.
And this is something that should be coming by the hour. By this evening, we should have heard a new development in the whole thing. Just telling us 19 people injured. They are being treated at the JFK. What's the condition of these people at the JFK? Disaster management, that is you. The disaster happened. It is your business to manage it. And one way to manage it is to see how you can evacuate people, is to see those people who are in the hospital. But because if a Lebanese national, he would have been very close, but he wouldn't have been just the one. There may be other Liberians who were seriously injured. He did not even talk about the severity of the injuries that most of the people had. He just said 19 people were injured and being treated at the JFK, and talk about the one person who passed. What happens to our people? You know, they should be able to come out with the appropriate, remedy at this time. Have they shut down the factory to ensure that they do the investigation? Or the factory is shut down because they have no way to operate?
They had a yellow tape around the facility that no one can enter, only people from the disaster management team and the EPA.
But that may not be the sales center. They may have another center where they do sales. So the company itself must be shut down immediately. Okay. We know that people need gas on the market, but before the gasoline came, we were using coal in Liberia. The people got to go back to what it is until we get to know that there is a need for a competition for another company to come and be producing gas instead of having only one company in the whole country. You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
We need more than one. So if this one becomes a disaster that has caused some people to die, we don't even know the 19 people, how many more are going to follow, how many more people are going to die, because we don't know the severity, By tomorrow morning, we should be able to give an update. Liberia, we should only care when 10,000, when 100 people die. That's not all about it. Injury to one person is an injury to all. By just hearing the information that today a gas tank exploded, some people who even using the gas in their houses, they become very timid. They become emotional. And some of them will decide, they even tell their children, don't open that gas, they leave it open. They say, don't open it, don't touch it. And the government should be able to give, the company should be able to give to the disaster management, or the EPA should be able to talk to the people and tell the people that where this happened at the center, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't use your gas. The gas that you have in your tank is good. Work with it. This, especially somebody who just started using the tank last week, few weeks ago. And we need competition, more than one company producing this. Mm-hmm. So because the use for that oxygen has really increased. I went to Liberia, almost every door in a residence or at a business center is an iron door. And they use this oxygen to fix these doors. Every window has to be sealed. It is the same gas that they use to do it. But they come on the market and assure the government that they are able to supply the market. In the rush, they behave recklessly because no other person comes in. But I'm just sorry. I hope the EPA will do something. And I hope the disaster management commission or agency is not only going to be reporting what is happening in the hospital. There are some people who are going to get affected in the community. They need to go out in that community and talk to the people and see how much impact that explosion had on them, because they managed a disaster.
Of course. So this is how serious the situation was. We had a lot of clothes that we saw like this. Meaning this is how deep the burn went, to the extent most of the workers' clothes was like this, and it was stuck back just right next to the fence of Mira Gas, and that is a picture of the clothes that is took from those individuals that got injured, from the explosion yesterday. Wow. It was actually a total tragedy. When you watch the video, you will see a lot of family members people asking for their dad, people asking for their husband, people asking for their brothers, and it was a sad incident, very very much heartbreaking, and some people couldn't stand the situation that broke them down in tears in terms of the explosion. Residents said it was almost like an earthquake, shaking the ground to the greatest
Yes.
extent.
Does this company even have insurance to take care of some things like this?
That was something we asked, and they said that
Yes.
workers don't even have insurance.
Workers do not have insurance. No personal insurance for the workers. There's no class coverage. Look at this that has happened. Who knows? Somebody is going to be amputated from this. Somebody is going to be completely emotional. And this will become an everlasting problem with that person emotionally.
I think in as much as we need companies to come and allow Liberians to have a job to be able to take care of their personal needs and families, there's a better way to do it, and I think the national legislature should be able to look deep into these concessional agreement properly as to how and what the company has to offer, and there should be specific things mentioned, because people who don't understand that most of these concessions coming into the country have passed through our very own representatives and senators. We're just going to blame everything totally on the president. And these are the same people who make most of these things happen before it reach to the president. And the president might just sign it because feels that the national legislature have vexed all of these concession agreement, all of these companies and investors that want to come invest into Liberia, without taking to the fact that there's a lot needs to be taken into consideration. You cannot have such a company that is producing
oxygen
gas, have hydrocarbon oxygen gas, and then you don't have insurance for the workers. I don't know if the company have an insurance for itself, but for the workers you don't have.
The thing goes, the president doesn't have to be blamed. He has no fish to fry in this, except by extension that he took oath to protect the Liberian people and to seek their interests. But these men and women that he select to work with him to make sure that things are happening, they are the one who overlook certain things and think that everything is going on. As long as you can buy the $45,000 car, they sit in it. Some of them go for workshops. You talk about people in the legislature. Some of those people in the legislature know nothing about hydrogen gas. They know nothing about oxygen gas. Those are all combustible, materials. And the EPA should be able to do better things. Sometimes the EPA should be able to define what falls under their control and what they must have their eyes looking at. What must they be looking at? That's an environmental problem. The fire service should be able to come up with a statement on this. Only saying, we told the people to buy a fire truck. No. They have many things that they need to have to prevent fire. And in case there's a fire outbreak. In America, we work. They tell the community, even at the schools, the children must know about cutting out fire, different types of fire. When candle breaks down, when candles start burning, you know what you use, whether you must use water or this. Okay? When the fire starts from the kitchen, what can you use to cut off that fire? At what level can the fire be that you decide to find a way to run away? Don't bother to take anything. Just run away and call the fire service to come. We are glad. Many people said we did not have fire trucks. When I'm looking there, I'm seeing the number of fire trucks. President Barker has done very well with that number of fire trucks. But all the fire trucks must not just be in Monrovia. Because sometimes when fire breaks out in houses, we see people going, drawing water, some people going, bringing sand and doing a whole lot of things. Look at these beautiful fire trucks. All of them packed in one place.
Of recent, the fire service have been very swift in handling fire situation around Monrovia, and very fast, to the extent that most of the government entities do have a personal fire truck. You take for the National Petroleum Refining Company, you take for the Monrovia City Corporation. I remember recent they were instrumental in quenching a fire that got a vehicle right next to the Monrovia City Corporation, and so many other entities in government do have a personal fire truck. And there was a lot that has been done in making sure that the fire service is fully equipped to handling fire situation, unless in the past that we saw that there was not a lot being done from the fire service, to the extent that you have your house burning down to ashes before you have these guys coming to say they're coming to, help in the situation. But yesterday's situation, the fire service was fast. You had ambulance taking these injured workers to, you know, various health centers to get, immediate health care. And I think it's something that we must hail the fire service, in as much as they also failed in making sure to inspect areas they should have inspected, to have fire truck, fire extinguisher, and better fire knowledge as to how they can be able to handle fire situation. But they were very, very fast, very, very in time in making sure that that situation was brought under total control. If it was not for them, I think it was going to be something different. To be real, something different, because
This
you
man who
have.
got out of the place, what did he say specifically? Where
So
was
he
he?
said. He said when we spoke with him, he said he was in the storage there. It was one of their substation, and while there, he saw a lot of smoke. So there's a pipe connected to. Let me just show this tank. There's a pipe connected to the tank, and the pipe loose. So when the pipe loose from the tank, there was a lot of smoke. So they have a lot of this tank uh, in within the facility. So there was a lot of smoke. When he saw the smoke, he tried to escape and get out of the facility. So he got out, and before he get out of the gate, it was too late. He heard the sound of the explosion, and according to information we gathered, because we're not exactly in time, but we also gathered information that even the security lady that was at the gate, not close to the tank, she got burned severely. She got burned severely from the explosion. So he said he was able to escape, but his friend, his co-workers, and other people who were within the entity, got seriously injured, and he didn't even believe that they survived the situation. He truly feels like they've died, because if the security lady who was close to the gate got burned to that extent, a friend who was even inside the tank trying to close the tank before the explosion, he didn't believe that his friend is alive.
That's the tragedy that we have gone through. Let's consider it as a very big emergency and let EPA do what they're supposed to do and let the environmental agency, not the environmental agency, I'm talking about the disaster management. And there are many other agencies that are in that Monrovia that need to be part of this investigation to know what went wrong and how can we mitigate those kind of tragedy in the future. I mean, that's the best we can do for now. But actually, I think it was a reckless disregard for protocol. They did not do what they're supposed to do. They endangered the lives of the people, you know. Thank you for that. What's the next one?
Yeah, so our next discussion point is about former Minister Brian McGill. If I may say, the rape situation, there's a lot of, releases on the situation. We have one coming in from one of the relevant authorities responsible for women and children social protection at the Liberia National Police. We also have one of the releases coming from the Ministry of Gender as well, and they spoke about the situation. So I don't know if you mind, maybe I can just drop a clip of the two,
Actually, I want to see the police. What did the police say? Because what I want to know is Brian McGill, according to Councillor Gongo, who should now be called former minister, is he still going up and down, or is he in custody?
Let me play the police on, and then we can just listen from what they said. Then we'll be able to have a final conclusion.
Good evening, Liberia. I'm Assistant Commissioner of Police, Susie T. Tele, Head of the Women and Children Protection Section of the Liberia National Police. I bring you this statement in response to a matter that has generated significant public attention and concern. On August 30, 2025, the Liberia National Police received a formal complaint alleging the sexual abuse of a 14-year-old minor. The accused in this case is Mr. J. Brian McGill, Deputy Minister for Youth Development at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Given the sensitive nature of this allegation and the involvement of a public official, we fully recognize the gravity of the situation and the public's call for transparency. Let it be clear, an investigation is actively ongoing. The case has been referred to the Women and Children Protection Section at the Liberia National Police Headquarters, and we are working in close coordination with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, the Sex Crimes Unit at the Ministry of Justice, and relevant forensic and social service teams. To date, we have conducted interviews with key individuals, reviewed surveillance footage, and taken steps to ensure the safety and well-being of the victim. The suspect has availed himself for questioning, and additional investigative actions are currently underway. It is important to emphasize that rape is a high sensitive matter, and the Liberia National Police treats such cases with the highest degree of confidentiality. The protection, privacy, and well-being of the victim remain our top priority throughout the investigative process. We are working closely with social workers and medical professionals to ensure that the victim receives the care and support she needs. The Liberia National Police wishes to assure the public that no one is above the law. We remain firmly committed to impartiality, professionalism, and the pursuit of justice, regardless of status or affiliation. We respectfully ask the public to refrain from speculation and allow the investigative process to proceed with integrity and care. We understand the emotional weight this case carries and are treating it with the seriousness it deserves. Updates will be provided as appropriate, and we will continue to act in the best interest of justice and the protection of vulnerable persons. Thank you for your continued trust in the Liberia National Police.
Now, they are treating this case with the highest degree of confidentiality. So, having Deputy Minister McGill in confinement while the investigation is going on, is that part of the confidentiality they're talking about? Because I believe the confidentiality must be wholly and solely moving towards the minor. I mean, trying to not evade her privacy, and at the same time not try to expose her to danger. But this allegation is very brave, as she has said, and I still believe that Mr. Brian McGill, if people are still speculating that Mr. Brian McGill should be behind bars and be treated like Mr. Kule, who may have done it in Bon County, and Mr. Joe, who did it in Lofa County, and Mr. David, who did it in Monrovia. They were all put behind bars while investigations were going on. Why must McGill be standing outside while this investigation is going on, and they are waiting? He will be lying down in his bedroom when indictment comes to him? No. The police is not treating this case fairly. To me, the information she provided has a lot of hyperbole. They have a lot of spaces in between that we need to ask questions. Everything she spoke there were all jargons. She was being verbose, and I still believe that she should be able to come out to tell us. What the people want to hear is, where is Mr. McGill? Where is Mr. McGill? That's what the people want to hear. We know that from the day the thing happened, the father said the thing happened on the 15th of August. You were only informed on the 30th. When it happened on the 15th, the father decided, because he also works at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, he decided to bring a formal complaint to the minister. The minister, who is a lawyer, he took his own time, whether Minister McGill may avail himself to the thing. Minister McGill don't have to wait on people to go begging, please go to the police and go answer. No, police should go to him and pick him up from his house or wherever he will be. Okay? But why is this taking so long? Today is the 16th since they reported a case to them on the 30th of August. So today is the 17th day. So why are we still going through this case that she just came out last night or today to come and give a statement? Did she have to wait until people squeeze her to the neck? Or did she have to wait until we tell her, oh, go put on your lipstick, go get on the thing, I'm not too good to go on television? She didn't have to come on television. She could read a statement off the camera. That's what we want to hear. What is happening? Where is Minister McGill? That's what the people want to hear. Because we know that a little child or this minor is already being protected, as the father said. The father himself for reporting it, because Minister McGill will have his own conspirators, who will be there to either do something to the father. And the father, as we spoke to him the last time, he told us that he is in an undisclosed place, which means he was fearing for either his life or for his safety, So the thing is, Mr. McGill is the one who is being accused, and therefore he should be the one that should be taken off the street. and not to be given the same protection that they are giving to the little minor. Minister McGill, we understand. They say you avail yourself. Yes, when you avail yourself, the Liberian people want to hear the word, Mr. McGill has been arrested. You know, it takes time. The police, I know you people are doing professional job, but you also have to dance according to the beating of the drums of the people that you are you take off to protect.
Do you think the rule of law is not respected in this case? Because we've seen several other cases of senior government officials that have been taken to prison and other things, especially for rape. Like you know, the latest here from the LMP that it's a serious matter case, high profile case, and you know they are treating it with respect and whatever. Do you think the rule of law is not respected here? You know, giving more time to Minister McGill to have more time to himself instead of being behind bars for committing such a crime, allegedly committing such a crime.
You see, such a thing should be considered. Let's imagine people who they are accusing of eating government money, you know, misapplication of funds. They grab those people and put them in jail. This one is a direct abuse. It's a direct dehumanization of a minor, destroying her future, making her to feel ashamed among her friends. You know what happens when a little kid is a victim of rape? It affects her life all throughout. You know, especially somebody that they take to be a fatherly figure. I know she used to come to the ministry and call him Uncle McGill, Uncle McGill, Uncle McGill. You know, putting you in a high place. Then you turn around and abuse her. You know, there are many people who would have been there. I'm not saying that you did it, because they say they are still investigating. But this little child, to let this case go to this level, Liberia will say, where there is smoke, there must be a resemblance of fire or something hot around there. I don't think she planned to destroy Minister McGill. I don't think she planned it. Mr. McGill created his own scenario. And let this be a lesson to Liberian officials who will consider themselves as high-profile people. Take your time in dealing with minors. If they have to come to your, they have to be in your presence. Always make sure you have the third person. Because something now that will happen is going to be your word against her word. And she is a minor. They can easily believe her more than you. It has to become a forensic situation. And then, even when there is a forensic situation, looking at our own circumstances in Liberia, people will not even want to believe it. We know you have an office boy or a security that sits in front of your office because they say it happened in your office. She comes into your office, people do see her come in and go out. If she goes and reports that this is what happened behind the door when she went into your office. And this is something that is so much in Liberia. You know, people keep their offices closed. Mm-hmm. They don't allow people to enter the office. Every day you must knock on the office door, which is a public office that you should keep open, that you're not doing anything private in there. In the United States, where we work, everybody has a key to the offices. As long as you work in that department, you should have access to it. If you work 4 o'clock, you're supposed to go home. That's when you send the people home. Then you stay alone in your office. That's when people come to meet you here. That is wrong. This is what is bringing all of this thing. Mr. McGill, you are my friend, but you erred. I don't know what happened. We are still waiting for the outcome of the investigation. But I really feel that you erred. You forgot that something should have been done by just being with her alone. You created a suspicion. And now people are going to believe her against you. You say you should have known better. You know. Now, everything that's going to happen is you are saying no, she will say yes. You say no, she says yes. Then the next thing is we should go for forensic DNA. Are we capacitated enough in Liberia for these kind of DNAs? Because even the DNAs that people do from America here, people still challenge it. What about Liberia? For shame, you will stick to your word. It did not happen. Just for shame. But if you erred, why did she not call any other person? Her father works at a ministry. But I just believe that things will happen, you know, because the police, assistant police commissioner of police, yeah, she wrote that plenty thing. I know how long it took for them to write it. Everybody look at it. The police director and say, got to look at it to see that you are not saying anything that will incriminate them. So therefore, they let you read it and take your time, go dress and this and that to come sit on camera. She reading like she even memorized it. Because I know she was not reading like a teleprompter. Maggie, do you think that she had a teleprompter in front of her?
No, I don't think there was a teleprompter.
Yeah, that means she memorized it because she kept looking straight in my eyes and reading those and saying those things. I mean, she memorized it to say exactly what the people want to hear. But we are saying, why is McGill not being arrested? Why this information has not come out? Let's crown it to say, let her hear what the people are saying. Put on our criminal lawyer, our criminal counselor, Councillor Gonglo. What did he say? You got that clip?
Let me bring, let me bring Councillor Gonglo.
Yeah, because he came out today.
Yeah, for this situation, let me bring Councillor Gonglo and we can have it from
there. Once again, I'm here to speak to you about a very important training issue. As a criminal justice expert, someone who has been a Solicitor General and has been teaching criminal law for years, teaching at the police academy, I am so angry this morning to hear that Deputy Minister McGill, the man who was accused of raping a 14-year-old girl, is passing up and down the street. He should be in the police cell. That he are not being arrested. We cannot have selective justice. Article 11C of the Constitution calls for equal protection. The same way you treat people from West Point, Soliwine, of Vubadi in Sino, when they are accused of crime, the same way you should treat a high official of government. Why do I say so? When I was Solicitor General, and my good friend Roland Khan was senator, and the police came to me with a report, a team led by Sam Sion, chief of investigation at that time, and said, we are investigating, but Senator Roland Khan's name has featured as a co-conspirator. I said, go and arrest him. I will answer the question. They told me, oh, he's a member of the Senate. Can't we write the Senate to excuse him to be arrested? I said, no, there's nothing in the law that says so. He was immediately arrested and put at the back of the pickup, handcuffed along with other defendants. All suspects of crime must be treated the same way. What is happening now undermines the error in the arrest agenda. It undermines the rule of law. I'm calling upon the police to immediately arrest former Deputy Minister McGill. He should be former Deputy Minister.
You heard
This is
that.
wrong for a man who was appointed, nominated and confirmed by the Senate to protect the young people and the carry on youth development to become a threat to the survival of the young people is not anything that the government should take lightly. I'm calling upon President Boakai to tell the police director to move speedily, because these are the things that can make the police disrespected in the communities. The whole country is watching. If this high official of government is not treated like they can treat anyone who is unknown, suspected of statutory rape, the next time police go somewhere to arrest someone who is not of the same stature, the people will resist. But when a big man is treated in the same way a small person will be treated on suspicion of committing crime, police don't have much work to do. The people tend to cooperate, have trust in the police. So I'm calling upon the police director to immediately get on this. I have credibility to say this. I've been Solicitor General. I'm a criminal law professor. There is no justification for this man being out right now. I'm calling upon all actors in government, even members of the civil society, let us push the pressure to make sure that the victim gets justice. Thank you very much.
That is the former Solicitor General, a criminal law professor, a human rights advocate. Not because he holds the broom, he did not win the presidency, that we cannot listen to his voice. He still remains the voice of the common people. But I still believe what he said. We shouldn't have selective justice. President Boakai doesn't have to tell the police director to have this man arrested. We know Mr. McGill is a member of the Alpha Old Timers. Most of the government officials, they play football together. He been around a while. But this particular allegation cannot be treated with cold water. It's a hard case. It's a hard case. And the allegation and selective justice, as Councillor Gonglo said, if it were somebody from West Point, they would do that. They will put him in jail. In fact, they will have him at the West Point police station. From there, they bring him straight to this to the how to call the place, to the Central Police Station. If it happened in Pittsburgh, they will pick him up from there and bring him and carry him to the city court. So, how long are we going to wait? Is it because it is it is Deputy Minister McGill that we are talking about forensic? We have to do forensic and forensic. We are not saying that his rights must be abused or his rights must be ignored, but there shouldn't be selective justice. Arrest should be made. What are the different women groups doing? I saw the long press release that came from the Ministry of Gender. They acted like they were teaching us what we already know. That was what in that press release. But in the meantime, they did not ask for the deputy minister to be arrested. That is the first relief that the people of Liberia want. What do you want now, police? You want all the women to gather in Monrovia to come to come to the police station to call for his arrest before you do it? Is that what they do? Or is it because this minor is not the child of Mr. Johnson, or it's not a child of deputy minister or director general or chairman for this? Is it because she is not a child of that person, of the top brass? And she's just a child of the poor man who working there at the ministry who is a subordinate to this deputy minister? That's why you want to be very technical in it. Why can't we start doing things the right way? I still remember in former Chief Justice Gloria Scott case, the number of people that came out that she must be arrested, that this must happen to her. Why are they sitting now at their houses? Is the police waiting for these people to come out? Or is it a crime? Or is the police shame to tell the people that Deputy Minister McGill has been arrested? That is the first relief. Then you can have enough chance to do the investigation. Once you say he has been arrested, that's what the people want to hear. 17 days since they reported this case to the police. You told minister, you wrote, then you decided to write an official letter to the minister. Come here next week, Monday. Gave him 1 week before he came. And you tell us he availed himself. He availed himself, then you let him go. The man is being accused of statutory rape. That is a minor. Let's go to the next case, please.
Yeah, so quickly let's run to our next discussion point. Let me just get some photograph for this point quickly, and it has to do with medical situation there at some rural hospital in rural Liberia. But I'm trying to get some pictures, and we are also getting report of a surgical doctor at the ELW hospital. But let me come with that report quick. It says and it's been reported by Verity Online. We just got it coming in almost an hour. It says the surgical supervisor at the ELW hospital, Mose K. Jagbe, has died after the alleged wrong medication was administered to him. The hospital has been negotiating for compromise. So we hope that he and his family can get justice for whatever situation. And health situation in our country, Mr. Abu, is something that can make you sick when you're not even sick. When you see it, it can make you very, very sick. And I hope and pray that Liberia can be able to become a better country, that all of us will be able to say, oh yeah, Liberia. Let me just, so we talking about this situation from the Timar University. It says we will look at the Timar student who is also a whistleblower, Bill Peters, talking about medical malpractice at the F.J. Garnett Hospital. And before I come to what happened today, let me just bring the situation. Bill Peters, a physician assistant student at the Tottenham National Institute of Medical Arts, says he has been denied graduation after exposing medical malpractice and corruption at the F.J. Garnett Hospital in Sano County. Peters, who was due to graduate last October after 3.5 years of training, alleges that patients were dying due to innocent medication, including antibiotics abuse and intravenous antimeter injections, while government supplied drugs were stolen and resold. He claims that after documenting the malpractice and raising concerns in hospitals meetings, he was threatened by senior staff and barred from the facility. A letter from Timan dated October 1, 2024 confirmed that Peters was considered ineligible for graduation due to not completing the required rural affiliation in Sano County. The letter explains that Peter left the Sun Health facility before finishing the program, resulting in missing clinical evaluation days, which are mandatory under Timan's graduation requirements. The administration offered Peters the opportunity to complete his affiliation at his own expense and receive clearance for the next graduation. So on today, we also saw that he got arrested and detained at the Monrovia City Court, handcuffed, and later, the court were requesting $500 United States bond for his release as well. So we just wanted to throw a little light on the situation there, especially that has to do with health. So and health situation in our country is something that needs serious attention. Something that we shouldn't take for granted, because Liberia is a place that we need to look at this health situation seriously and should be able to talk about most of these situations. Why would you deny a student graduation only because he raised concerns about people stealing government drugs to sell it and people dying, because these guys and authorities are taking away government jobs and everything, government drugs. And most of these drugs are given to the government of Liberia by international organizations. It's something that is very, very unfair. And this is not the first time. I remember when I started practicing journalism in Calcutta, Margibi County, we had several of these situations where county health authorities would take the drug. They have a personal drugstore from government-owned entities. They prescribe the kind of medicine you need and tell you where to go and get it. So it's something very bad. And for rural Liberia, you don't have a lot of these people who are even able to afford their basic needs. Before we talk about essential drugs for them to still stay healthy. And you have somebody raising a line and you threatening the person is very, very bad. Very, very bad.
What is happening in Liberia may not be solely something that happens only in Liberia. In most West African and third world countries, these are the things that happen there. The students go to the classroom, medical students, they teach them one thing. And when you go for affiliation, you meet the people there doing something different. And in the end, your evaluation is assumed that you have fallen in line with them. What this man is talking about, this PA, the physician assistant, he is talking that people are doing the wrong, they are doing things wrongly. And sometimes the doctors or the medical practitioners in a place, they just want to see people well. And that cannot be the place, because if you just want to see the people recover, they're going to come back, and they keep coming back, and you may not have the medication to be able to meet everything that they need to do. Let's say, for example, you and I know that indeed, like what you just said, the medication supplied by how to call the group at GFK that do the medicals, that supply the medicine to the various hospitals, the medication supplied by them to these hospitals. Everybody goes home with some medication. Every nurse in the hospital also treating people in her community. She is the one who becomes the nurse and the doctor in the community. Some people are treating people for illnesses that they are not qualified to provide the treatment for. These things do happen. This man comes out, he sees it, and he reports it. Now, the doctor or the medical director assigned at the hospital, who's supposed to have been supervising the PA, believes that this PA is talking too much. So as a matter of fact, I know they were already chasing him out of the hospital, so he can't stay there to see a lot of things. So he was not able to complete his affiliation. I think this is why the hospital or the medical director will say he did not show up for my time to supervise him, to do this and to do that. And in the end, he fails the exam, or he is canceled because he did not complete his thing. But then, why would they say, did they give him time to explain himself? If they did not give him time to explain himself, because the school was the one that accredited him to the hospital to go there for his affiliation. If he comes and did not complete, he should have an explanation to give. And this explanation should be followed up by the school itself to find out that he's one of their fine students, that they need medical students, they need medical practitioners in Liberia. Why are you doing this? Is this the only time that you want to make sure that everybody is qualified? After us, they all sat down there, the Liberian Medical Association president said for I don't know how many years without any paper, no accreditation. If other people did not have to put their mouth there, they were not going to do anything. And Liberians must change from this kind of thing, where they believe that somebody must be the whistleblower before they take an action. Who doesn't know that at JFK people are stealing medication? Who doesn't know that people are doing it? But they are not doing anything to investigate it. You who in the system, when you talk about it, then everybody going against you. This is not good, and this is not fair. People need to start doing the things better. Because let's say the other person at JFK, at ELWA hospital, he is also the surgical supervisor. They go give him the wrong medication. They do give wrong medication. They do. It happens even in big hospitals in America, in every country. They do give the wrong medication. The doctors will always save themselves and say, "Oh, okay, well, I did prescribe the medication." Okay. If in Liberia, the doctors must just consider, here in America, the doctor makes sure they are on their telephones. Not that they're making calls, but they're doing research. Okay. That when you come in, you give in, this is your case, these are the symptoms you have, and this is how you are feeling. The doctor looks there and they are led straight because they really do have what we call diagnostic apps. That they look there, they just present those cases, and the app will strictly tell them what the diagnosis is for that person and what should be the remedy, what kind of medications that they can prescribe for that particular illness that person has. That's what they do. In Liberia, they are used to doing one thing over and over, to the point that even when somebody goes and have a fever that is taking 2-3 days to break, most of the time, fever is just a symptom for something else. But because they do not have the equipment or they do not have the means to investigate or laboratory, or they say the people cannot afford it, then they tell you, "Oh, it looks like that typhoid you got." Until today, typhoid is like an epidemic in Liberia. Everybody that has fever or headache that doesn't go after 2 days, that means you have typhoid, And guess what? By the time you give the first medication, the whole typhoid is finished. So why does it have to go to typhoid, which should be heavier than fever? You know. Let's start looking at these people we call whistleblowers. This man has a genuine case, but he's not getting cooperation from his school that sent him there. The school that seconded him to that hospital. This school should be able to investigate whether what this practitioner is presenting, whether it has any credibility. They wouldn't do that. Instead, they say, oh, you are not going to graduate next year. You have to go, then you have to do you have to repeat the affiliation, but the affiliation will have to be at your own cost. Where is he going to do? Okay, because as a PA, you go to government hospitals because they are the one accredited to supervise you and to be able to give you a grace and to give you a green light for graduation and say this man is ready, this man can perform circumcision, this man can perform, he can do delivery, he can do all these little things. They were really not fair to him.
Of course.
I do not want to jump the gun to say why they had him arrested. Maybe out of frustration, he did something that he's not supposed to do. Because some people, when this thing happens, they go and either start assaulting people or they start destroying things and something, you get arrested, you know, which is not directly related to why you are, why you are not out of school. He's frustrated. Can you imagine going to school? You know how difficult it is to enter TNIMA? Nobody must tell me it is not. It's very easy. No. To go to TNIMA is more difficult than entry LU.
Yeah, of course.
More difficult. We can't take it like that. The government must open its eyes, start investigating some of these things. Our society can continue to be a ratting society. People who come out and talk against the ills, let's investigate. Is this thing, this person talking true? We can't be protecting the system. You know, they say they're protecting the system. They're not protecting the system. They are protecting individuals. Because once you go into that investigation about medicine being sold, you get to find out that it did not start today. It started many years back. Then when you hold rope, you'll be holding the whole bush. Then in the end, it comes from Greenville. Then it comes to JFK. It comes to Banga. It comes to Kakata Hospital. All of them do sell the medication. Even the health aides, the nursing aides, all of them. They have their own places. All these people who are just supposed to be administering medication, but not creating diagnosis, not evaluating diagnostically. But they will all come to the community, and our communities are the ones that continue to do this. Sometimes people say people are corrupt. It is a system. The people in the community, they corrupt you. They make you to present yourself that you are so vulnerable. The lady is there. Her child is convulsing. Instead of taking that child to the hospital, she goes to Nurse Mabel, who is in the community. And Nurse Mabel is not going to advise her to go to the emergency room. They act like they are going to stabilize the situation. And they will not stabilize the situation and say they want to advise you to go to the hospital after we stabilize it. They do a full-time regimen. I will give you 3 injections. You take 1 injection today, take another injection tomorrow, and count the 3rd day for the next injection. People must understand that these things are not good. At the JFK, we hear the stories. The pharmacy across the road is the only pharmacy that everybody send you. They only prescribe medications that are in that pharmacy.
They won't send you somewhere else.
No,
absolutely not.
You go because You go somewhere else. Why must people be buying certain water? Someone goes to the hospital. Everybody that goes to hospital must have drip hanging on them. Then the drips are not available. Your family will have to run across that road to get a drip. For what? These are some of the cheapest things that they supply in the hospitals because they are life-saving regimens. And you doctors, you don't even want to talk here because you guys stayed in that country for so long. A man came from nowhere and started working with you people, performing surgery and carrying you to a point. He never had any documentation. He never had any credentials. Then you people made him the president of the Liberia Dental and Medical Association. For what? Are you guys blind or are you stupid? You never saw the man at AM Daglotti. You never saw him at any of those medical schools around. He comes from out. And tell you people that he stays. Our vice president employed him. Our vice president employed him to work in his hospital. Only when he was told that this man doesn't have credential, this man you got in the hospital, he ain't got paper. You know, because medical profession is where many people hide. Even the cleaners in the hospital, they stand there looking at you people doing the thing. As they leave from there, some of them go home and start practicing that same thing.
Yeah, of course.
Circumcision, they do it. When there is swelling, then they send you to the hospital. And most hospitals will not handle some of these things that come from in the homes. And these things are performed right in the homes. The people given wrong medication. You know, hospitals must have their doors open for people. We understand. Why must it be only JFK? The thing happened across the bridge. What is happening to Redemption Hospital? Why they can't go to Redemption Hospital? They will take all that time to come to JFK. If they even use the freeway, why they couldn't go to ELWA Hospital? They got to come to JFK. You overwhelmed JFK. We need to have more facilities open. The singer in Liberia say, not because of bad dream that you say you will not go to sleep. We need to get well. The economy is fine if we have more people who are well. Because as long as they are well, they have a means to hustle. They have the means to look for what to eat. But this physician assistant, I think we need to look back into his case. He's frustrated. Those things, when they happen in America, what they do, they seize your license. They seize your license. And when they seize your license, this means you are going to look for another profession. That means the medical profession not for you. Give the wrong medication when the investigation is done. You who did it, your license will be seized. After paying the fine or going to jail, you come out, you change your profession. And that hospital where you work, where it happened, they are going to have fines paid. First to the association, maybe of about 100,000 or more to the group. And then if the family of the person who they did it to decides to take a lawsuit, those things close down. It makes some hospitals file for bankruptcy because sometimes for human being, we don't have a small value. They sue you for millions. Sometimes in the case, you come, you say, well, let's reach in the middle. But we are seeing the Liberian government, the arrest agenda. We need to make sure that every case that is coming before us, let's go into these cases. This poor man, he's just one person who is reporting. We can't even imagine how many more students have gone to that TNIMA and have been frustrated by the professors there and the administration. And all of these are giving room to the establishment and the creation of mushroom nursing institutions around the country. And who is giving them accreditation? Who is giving them accreditation? Everybody opens a pharmacy. Is it really a pharmacy or a medical store? Then they have they have a bed or a room on the side with a bed that they're going to be diagnosing people.
Medications. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me leave that alone.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Abu. Let's just try to run up and let's just get your concluding statement for tonight's presentation.
All I want to say first is the Liberian people want to hear that Deputy Minister McGill is arrested while the investigation is going on. If the police has not done that yet, I think it should be the next announcement. Then you can create credibility in the police and your ability to investigate and to help that minor, that 14-year-old baby who is accusing the minister of touching her inappropriately. You know. So I still believe that in addition to that, we've heard the police come out. The gender ministry has come out. The other day, the Ministry of Labor came out. Why all of these going on? Councillor Gongle has come out today. What are they waiting for? Are they waiting for all the women in Monrovia to come to the police station and ask for that man to be arrested? Don't you know that even arresting him, you provide safety for him? The prison will be a safe place for him. Why? It's because somebody who knows his house will just wake up one morning and put all the women together. I'm not inciting. And put all the women together and they just go and start doing bad things to his home. Liberia, you don't take nothing for granted because they are tired with the police not giving them the information as to what they're doing. The women will get vexed and go to Mr. McGay's house and do bad. If they don't meet him there, who knows what they will do to the home. So in order to stop all of this, to prevent this, I asked the police to please announce the arrest of Mr. McGill while the investigation continues. Again, this container here that exploded, or this company here, we want the EPA to please continue to investigate. Close down this company now and do the investigation. We know a lot of people will be without gas. They'll be without gas. But this oxygen gas is very dangerous. It provides fire for us, and fire is not our friend. Fire can cook our food, but it's not your friend. So let the company be closed down. Let the investigation go on. The Disaster Management Commission, they are not going to only manage the company. Let it go in the community. That is a gas that exploded. That gas exploded. Many people are going to be affected. You may not see the impact today, but the long-term impact in the short room, in the middle room. They need to do something. Help the people in the community. You need to go to visit the homes of those who are severely injured. Because if you say that the Lebanese guy who was inside, he got so injured and he has passed, can you imagine what about the person who was sitting down next to him or who was sitting down who was trying to help to do the thing? They would have been injured. Some of them are going to be amputated. Some of them are going through a lot of things. Or are you waiting for the community to come out with a class suit against this company that will force this company to go bankrupt? Start to do something now. Well, we just want maybe Maggie, you can recognize some of our friends who are also watching. Recognize them, and we can go home. For that, I want to say thank you so much. And next week on Thursday, we'll be back here with some trivia issues.
Jala Dennis Bade says he's following. Julie Piwala is watching from Cottage Grove, NM. Kopo A. Barnes is watching as well. She says, well done, fantastic job. And let's come with this. Jami Nusa says, great job. So these are people who followed the show closely and left comment. We also had the numbers for calls, and we're hoping that in due time, you guys can be able to call us and make your own contribution to the program as to some of these things we are going to be talking about on a daily basis, especially on Tuesday and Thursday, that are making headlines in the news. Until we come on Thursday of this week, my name has been William McGill. Many thanks to Mr. Samuel Abu, who has always been here and giving us all of his own little knowledge on most of these situations across Liberia. We'd like to bid you a wonderful farewell from Liberia, and we'll be on here Thursday, 10 p.m. Liberia time and 6 p.m. the U.S. time. Until then, do have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.